Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode of Showcase on Warframe. Today's item, the Supra. The Supra, well, let's just say time has not been kind to this weapon. The chain laser gun. It shoots more bullets than you can count. Well, you can count to 180 in a span of only 10 seconds, but anyway. But yes, it's a chain laser gun. Kind of like the Gorgon, except lasers, and maybe that doesn't suck nearly as much. Anyhow, it's mainly a puncture weapon. The fire rate's amazing, the accuracy could be better, the critical chance is pretty much non-existent, and the status is mediocre. So yeah, you got a lot of bullets on the 3-second reload time. So, all in all, it's a DPS weapon. That is the short of it, and there's no long of it. It's a DPS weapon. So yes. Though there is a few interesting things about this. I'll be taking this through ultimate build. Well, it's worth it, we'll find out at the end of the video. But it has received a buff from the previous year. Now, where you will find this is in your dojo, providing you have one, in the energy lab. You'll find it there in the third row. And to build it, well, you need quite a bit of Feldrion. Well, you need 25,000 credits, but that's easy. But 7 Feldrion's a bit annoying. I mean, 1,000 ally plates was a joke, and 7,000 salvage, and then a forma, as part of most weapons coming from the dojo. So yes, build requirements all pretty easy, except for the Feldrion being quite a bit of a nuisance, isn't it? But no matter. Now onto performance to see how it performs. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this weapon is DPS. But seriously, the spray on this. To say it, don't spray it. This gun has never heard of that. It will spray everything. I may have heavy caliber on, but it does very little in terms of accuracy, like, you know, negative impact. I only put heavy caliber on weapons that have almost no accuracy. So yes, you'll be spraying whole areas with this. Does a good job pretty decently too. And for damage, well, it's all made up in DPS. You gotta put enough bullets in your opponent fast enough for you to kill him. But otherwise, don't expect to be popping heads with this weapon. It could be more accurate, but it's not really the point. The corpus techs used against you don't really rely on accuracy, so why should you? And they lay you out in a few hits. I know they lay me out in a few hits when they're level 80 or above. Fucking pricks. So here it is, my ultimate build. Now you may have noticed, I got a rivin mod on this sucker. Yes, I'll be including rivin mods in the ultimate build, because it's all possible. Anyhow, let's start off with Serration. You got Serration that, again, busts up the damage. Same thing goes for Split Chamber, pretty self-explanatory. And you got Piercing Caliber. Pretty much a dedicated mod to increasing puncture damage dramatically. As I mentioned earlier, I got the Heavy Caliber on there. It took the accuracy from, 8.5 to 6.7. Pretty much very minimal change. Now, I got Primed Ammo Mutation. Not only will I upgraded, but it doesn't really matter. You get the idea. You need that in order to get your ammo back. This thing goes through quick. Now, I also got Wildfire. Wildfire will increase your magazine size and give it extra fire damage. And then I got the Augment for the Supra, the Empathy Blast. This adds 20, extra 20 more status chance at top, not 20%, extra 20. And then the Split Chamber doubled that, so it's at 42%. So if it wasn't for the Rivin mod, I would just have another Elemental mod in here. Now, as much as the Supra is questionable in the Rivin mod, I do have a good one. After rolling it a couple times, we can see I got a lot of damage. I pretty much got another Serration on this sucker. Now, I could do that with Puncture, but after seeing I got damage and ammo maximum at 50%, it's like, damn, can't turn that one down, because the Super goes through a lot of ammo. So another Serration plus something better than Ammo Drum on there. So there you go, and that's my total damage, as you can see. Alright, going on to the test here, let's get some ball greener guys. I tested them at level 100, but it was too much, so we'll go to level 80. Okay. Problem is, these guys hurt. A lot. Maybe I shouldn't use Equinox so much. Maybe it's favoritism to a fault. But we can see, it's pretty much acceptable in terms of killing them. At level 100 it was too much. At level 90 it was still a bit too much. And level 80 we see here is the acceptable level. If they were any higher, then it wouldn't be really the best weapon to take against fighting Grenier. Even now it's a bit iffy. I probably wouldn't want to fight Grenier because, again, as you can see, they take lots of cover. They like to keep their distance. They're smart like that. This gun does not want you to fight smart opponents like that. once you fight someone at near point-blank range. For one rare time, I have to use my maim or my mend, my equinox, to actually heal myself. But no matter. You can see it does acceptable, but however, I noticed that the status proc is not really kicking in that often. 40% per shot, and I'm dumping into him roughly 30 shots per opponent. I'm not seeing that. I wonder if that augment mod really is doing the job. There, that's the first, the second opponent I caught fire. I should catch fire at least, for every second opponent should be catching fire. In terms of chance. No matter though, let's move on to the Corpus. This did an average job against the Grenier. So we'll take around 15 of those guys. About, yeah, 15. And it's the same level, level 80. Now, again, these guys don't only keep their distance, problem is they bundle together and attack in one group. It's like a brick wall, and your head being repeatedly smashed into it. But against MOAs, their shields are pretty resistant against puncture weapons. To a point where I don't see a whole lot of, it's not really great. It does worse. So in this terms, DPS seems to be failing me so far. It could do better, could do worse. The long reload time is not the biggest issue. You got a lot of bullets. But when your bullets aren't dropping opponents fast enough, after putting about pretty much the whole ultimate build this and only getting to level 80 barely, I'm having questionable doubts. But let's finally test against the Chargers. Grab 20 of them at level 80. Now here's where I'll probably do the best. It's probably where I should put on a bit of punch through, but I didn't think it would be worth it because of the accuracy. With how much heavy spray you get, half your shots hitting the floor. But you can see I usually choose through these guys. DPS falls pretty much is dominant over the infestation. I guess majority of it anyway. Maybe not ancients, but against Chargers and every other small infestation, yeah, you just tear right through them. But is it really worth it in the end? Let's move on to the pros and cons of the Supra. On the pros, the weapon has an incredibly high DPS. And has a large magazine to accommodate that high DPS. Sorry to say, those are the two pros to this weapon. On the con side, it has incredibly poor animal economy. The accuracy is pretty bad. And it has relatively long reload time, but that's to be expected of this weapon. Now, it could be said about something about the augment mod, but I'll leave that be. Leave it up to your judgment for that one. Going on to the score for the Supra, it'll take damage a 7 out of 10. It has good TPS, but still, you have to give a lot to get that. Accuracy, a 2 out of 10. It's pretty bad. You can qualify as bad as a shotgun in terms of accuracy. Even with my steel heavy caliber on there, it's just horrible. Design though, a 4 out of 10. It's a chain gun, but you're not really feeling the oomph of this weapon. You really have to give it. You really have to give a lot to give it that oomph. And even at the end of that road, you're only taking on level 80s at most. Ammo, 2 out of 10. It goes through a lot of ammo. There's just no changing that. You need a primed ammo of mutation just to feed it. It goes through a lot of ammo. Misk, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It's better than the Gorgon, but that's not saying a whole lot. It still just lacks a lot of key characteristics, even with that rivin mod. Without that, I'd be only taking on level 70s, maybe even 65s. But in total, I give the Supra, at the end of the day, an 18 out of 50, which is bad. Even after its buff, even after the rivin mods, it still just can't hold up to the best weapons in the game. Even then, when it gets to the end, it's still not worth it in my opinion. Well, I kind of jumped the gun on the judgment there, but it's clearly a no, as I've kind of made it apparent. I wanted this weapon to do great. I really did. I like chain guns. I love the DPS. But when I'm putting 30 rounds to an opponent, and I'm getting hurt badly while doing so, it's just not that great of an idea. Against level 80s, with that bad accuracy, it's a bad choice. Well, anyway, that's been Showcase for today. And before you go, if there's a particular weapon here you want to see on Showcase, leave a comment down below. I'd like to thank you for watching and hope to see you guys next time. Take care out there.